Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the monthly meeting, the March meeting of the Finance and Compliance Committee. Oh, Ian, there's something on the screen. So welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming. So the first thing is, do we have any apologies?
No apologies, Chair.
No apologies.
For lateness, that's the only apology.
You're welcome. Okay, any declaration of interest? Thank you. So the outstanding actions, Ian. Oh, sorry, minutes, first of all. Would anybody like to approve them as a true record of the last meeting?
I can't, because I wasn't here.
You weren't here, neither was Martin. You weren't here. Tim was here.
Carrie says she's running late, but she will be there. She'll be at the
Okay.
meeting. She's just running late.
So looking for somebody to propose the minutes as a true record.
When was it?
February. Tim, okay, and I will second it then, if nobody else was here. I don't know if Sarah and Phil were here. Okay.
Was it you?
No. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks all.
It was a hospital thing, I think.
Okay, any outstanding actions from the previous?
There's only three, Chair. The first one is related to the Gower Electric Company with tariffs. I haven't had any update from the RRFO. The second one, number 27, relates to reminding the West Cross Youth Club about a grant application. I think that is in hand.
It's in the pack here.
It's in the pack, so I can show that's complete.
That's complete, yes.
The last one relates to the CEO providing me details relating to the external evaluation update. And I think that's, Kerry, that's in hand, isn't it? That with between us.
Yeah.
The number 30, yes.
In hand.
That's in hand.
Okay then. Budget monitoring reports from the 31st of January, the poll sent out. Did anybody raise any questions?
No.
No? In which case, I'd like to go straight to a vote that we adopt and accept those as a true record. So all those in favour? Thank you. Okay then, on to the grant applications. So the first one is from the Linden Church for Linden Church Trust for a grant of £6,000 for the youth club. So anybody got anything they want to say on this?
It's unusual. Normally, for the past two previous occasions, they've been going for a sort of three-year run. We've just come to the end of a 3-year run, haven't we?
Yeah.
And yet this is just one for a one-off. Why is it a one-off all of a sudden? Any reason behind that?
I don't know if Sarah, do you know why this is just a 1-year grant rather than the 3?
No, I have no idea. All I was going to say was I know how successful and how busy it is. So it's well worth our investment. But I don't know why they haven't put in for a 3-year grant.
Right. Okay. It's Rebecca who's on the board of that, is it? Right. Okay. You want to say something else?
Linden Church, West Coast Youth Club. Oh, there it is, yeah.
Rich, and then what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I know it's normally done for 3 years, but we can only deal with what's here in front of us.
Yes.
It would normally have been 5,000. It's increased by 1,000. Any reason for that?
I don't know. All I can say is everything is increased. You know, food has gone up, everything's gone up. So I'm assuming it's with inflation. Sarah, say?
I was just going to say the general cost of everything. So, and the
Mhm.
fact that they're dealing with more, it's far more popular than I think they realised. I think they, yeah, more stuff for more people.
More cost for more people, that seems a fair enough reason to me. Okay,
But the vote's got to go to full council. And
yeah, okay then, so I mean, we'll go straight to votes on that then, so everybody in favour of awarding the grant? Thank you all. Okay, the next one is the HWV Collective grant for £2,000 to widen access to practical STEMs learning for young people in Swansea and Mumbles through small-scale prototype programme. Collective. Right, got this now. Anybody want to say anything on it, Ian?
Yeah, it doesn't really actually. It was, what was it? STEM, wasn't it?
STEM.
STEM. What does that actually mean?
Science, technology,
Environmental something or
Engineering.
engineering.
STEM?
Engineering.
I noticed
It's
it's
a science, it's science subjects, STEM subjects.
yeah. I noticed it's a community interest company. This is an education matter. Should we be giving a grant on an education matter? We haven't in the past.
That was the concern I got with this is, although, you know, in a lot of ways it seems quite admirable. And the person who's doing it, from what I can understand, is a qualified teacher. Are we subsidising the schools in this? Are the schools involved?
Well, it does say that they will be active with some of pupils or whatever.
With the pupils.
But I don't know to what degree.
Yeah.
But personally, I don't think we should be giving a grant to education matters. But there we are. Everybody else.
Okay, Phil, bring you in.
I have some personal, well, I say second-hand experience of this through my other job. I come across young people that benefit from these sorts of STEM workshops in school, and this is very positive. It also gives an opportunity on occasions for parents to actually come in and support, and carers to come in and support young people and stimulate that understanding at a younger age in science, technology, engineering, and I think it's mechanics, which is the last part, STEM. But I note that the scoring on this brings us in as an 8. So I would have hoped for something that sort of ticked more of our boxes in terms of awarding the funding. I mean, I haven't had a chance to really absorb all of the information. I think if we were a little bit clearer on exactly how it would benefit the young people in the area specifically, you know, and I had a little bit more information and how that would go across, I wouldn't not recommend this, but I would just want a bit more information and a bit of tightening up to see and understand what the benefit is really.
Thanks, Rich.
I mean, I know the benefit, but I think it hasn't been explained well enough.
Yeah, if I can fill there. Also, I can't see that. Is it something that just relates to our community council boundaries, or is it Swansea wide?
No, it's not.
It says in question 11, young people, schools within Mumbles and Swansea area, parents, home learners. So
Yeah, so it doesn't say it's just for this area. It says Swansea as well. Okay, Carrie.
Yeah, I just don't think they've given enough information. There's no indication of where it'll run, when it'll run, how long each session will be, whether people are expected to pay for it or not. It's, you know, they're brand new and they're trying something out. Well, my personal view is let them try it out, prove the case. If it's successful and there is a greater demand that therefore warrants further funding, then you know that's the point I think at which we should be considering it. But it's a complete unknown quantity at the moment, and there's just nowhere near enough information to be able to get I think to give any funding at the moment.
I'm going to totally agree with that. Apart from it doesn't, it's quite ambiguous, as if it's just the MCC schools which are going to benefit from this. It doesn't say, as you said, the where, the when, and if people are going to be paying for this. Now, you know, we are not an education authority. If we were going to put educational things in school, I'd like to see some music things go into school, because that is sadly lacking in all our primary schools and stuff like this. Personally, I don't think we can consider it, because there's, apart from not enough information, if we give to some subjects, we should be giving to all subjects. That's the way I think. So I'm going to put it to the vote, and my all those in favour of awarding this grant. Oh, sorry,
if I may just, sorry, yeah, I was just going to say, I would suggest that as a committee, I would go a different way. Rather than vote on whether we recommend it or not, I reckon that we should defer this on the basis of the fact that we do need that more information. We do need them to clarify, and basically we need them to turn around and sort of say, try again, please, in order to, so that we can make a recommendation to full council or not. I totally understand what you said about other subjects as well, Rob. I do find that from my personal experience, there are other groups out there, other projects that are offering STEM support, you know, for primaries and early secondary schools. You know, the what's the bridging? Is it Key Stage 2? That's the bridging stage, or Key Stage 3?
Yeah.
I can never remember which one it is.
Yeah.
So it, you know, we wouldn't want to see replication. We wouldn't want this going off to Bishopston if it's already been done in that, or Bishop Gore if it's already been done in our primary schools. If you see what I mean, and vice versa. If it's not been done in our area and then it's going out to those two schools, you know, they're the ones that service the majority of the young people at secondary school age for us. There is an argument for that, but you know, it needs to be made. So I would just say we don't need to make a recommendation. We need to kick it back to them and basically say, tighten this up for us, please, so we can actually make a proper recommendation on it.
Thanks, Phil.
Fair comment. Excuse me, fair comment at Phil's saying, but can we clarify whether it's something we can give a grant to, an educational program? Maybe the chief officer can answer that.
I mean, one thing I would just, before I bring in Kerry, say is that individual science subjects are not taught until comprehensive age, and we don't have any comprehensive schools within our MCC community areas. So the sciences which are covered in primary school are covered anyway. There's plenty of science going on in primary schools. I think if we ask them to provide more information, we could still be opening a can of worms, because if we're going to give, I think giving to education, we're not allowed to give to schools directly. So this seems like a private school going into schools. I'm not quite sure. I mean, it is so ambiguous. I mean, my vote would be that we vote on whether or not to accept it as it is, and then they get the email saying yay or nay. No explanation. Carrie, I'll bring you in before we bring Kerry in then.
Yeah, just quickly, I see where Phil's coming from, but I just don't think they're going to be able to give us any more information, because this is something that they haven't actually done yet. They've no idea about it. And I do agree, this is for 11 to 14-year-olds. It's not going to directly involve the children while they are in our primary schools. And, you know, as I say, you know, we can say to them, I'm sorry, no, there isn't, we can't give you funding at the moment. If you come back in a year's time, when you have, you know, got a, you know, some background behind you and some evidence of exactly what the demand is and how many children are actually accessing it from Mumbled, then we may reconsider it. But I do agree that, you know, STEM, yes, it's useful, but there are other areas which could equally benefit from additional support.
Okay, is there anything you want to say, or I'll take it to a vote?
Just to point out that it is actually providing grant funding to a community interest company to provide the services, and not providing grant funding to a school or a PTA to put that service on. So you can obviously donate to a community interest company.
Okay, I'm going to take it to a vote. So all those in favour of awarding this grant? All those against awarding this grant? And Phil, you abstaining?
I'm abstaining. I just think we should kick it back to them and say, try again.
So the recommendation is not to award this grant. Okay, thanks everybody for that. Okay, the next one is the Bantai Cymru SIC Community Interest Company, a grant for £2,200. Anybody want to start off on this?
I'm not sure if I should declare an interest. I do know Hazel Israel. I'm on the governors of Oystermouth with her. So maybe that's a personal interest.
Yeah, that's fine. You weren't here when we did the declarations at the start, so yeah.
No, I wasn't.
We'll log that with Ian now. Okay, Ian? There we are. Okay.
Again, this is touching on another educational theme, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, it's very ambiguous, and it's education. Anybody want to say anything before we take?
What I would say in its favour, what I would say in its favour is that, you know, it seems to be zooming in on the history of Oystermouth Castle, etc., the sort of the heritage side of things in Oystermouth and on the Gower landscape. So, you know, those are positives, but whether it's going to be purely parochial to Mumbles.
I was going to say, you know, the focus of this, the theme of this, I think is very admirable. And again, it's in with, you know, the aims and objectives of the Wellbeing of Future Generations Act, which, you know, education we should be aiming towards. No, but maybe Gary would know better than me. I don't know anything about this organisation. I had a look at their website. It's like a bona fide organisation. They're only asking us for some of the funding in relation to this. So, you know, I'm looking at this more positively, saying I want to pass on.
If I may.
Phil, yes, you're next.
Yeah, if you could mute, because the feedback's terrible, thanks. I am under the impression that we have had an application from Bantamede previously, and we have certainly considered it. I don't know whether this was in my, you know, this must be within my period, so it's probably around 22, 23. But I believe that we've actually had perhaps a retrospective request for something that's been held either at the castle or I I want to say at Underhill, for some sort of event that's happened, and they asked for part funding, and it was done alongside some other event, maybe the Sevens or something like that. But I certainly remember there being something that we've run out, and this lady's name really rings a bell. I don't know whether Kerry or Carrie or anybody else, I don't know whether it was called Bantony or not, but I certainly remember something about us previously giving money to an organisation that had done some sort of historic place scheme within our boundaries, and each year they basically go and they concentrate on with children from a different school. Ian, Scott, do you recall? Because I'm sure that this was under us a couple of years back now, maybe
I think it was a
more than a
completely
year.
different company. I do remember it was like a one-off event
I
at the
wonder
castle.
whether this is the same person, but it's actually the
Dunno.
name of the company is different, because this is just ringing bells for me. Big bells. I would have liked to have had a chance to double check, but I'm afraid I've only sort of come late to reading the pack today. That's me done. Sorry, but I just.
So you're still muted in the room. You're still muted in the room.
Trying to draw a C, Harry.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah, I don't see this as quite so kind of directly focused on education. It's not directly focusing on particular subjects. And as far as I can see, it's looking at being much wider. It's not specifically on schools. It's talking about, primary school children, but also, parents and anyone else really who's interested. So I think in that way it's different. And yeah, I agree with Martin that, this is much more focused on our, cultural heritage and using the castle. And personally, I'm all for anything that promotes the castle and uses the castle and encourages children to have a far greater understanding and appreciation of the history of the castle and of Gower. So I'm quite supportive of this. I think it's not really educational. It is educational, but only in the same way as Sculpture by the Sea is educational, or our family fun days or environmental projects. It's, of course, it's all about learning, but it's not focusing on specific curriculum areas.
Well, I'd just say that its work is guided by the principles of the curriculum for Wales and the Welsh concept of Synefin, helping learners develop a sense of belonging, responsibility, etc., to contribute positively to their communities. All that is very good. I don't know. I'm a bit skeptical about entering into these things with educational establishments. Where are we going to go? You can say this about anything, really.
We can.
We'll be taking over the health service next.
Well, what I would say is, yes, this is linked to education, but it's not a specific subject. And what I would like to know, because it says our historic buildings. Now we have the castle and we have All Saints Church. I would imagine, I don't know if I'm right, that if a school approached either of those places and said, can we have a tour and little guide and a bit of the history about it, then they would have that for free as school children, I would have thought. But saying that, again, I am all for encouraging children to know about their history of the place where they live and the culture of it, and also to respect it. And if they go on something like this, they're more likely to respect the local buildings and where they live, rather than deface it or vandalize things. So, you know, personally, I think I could be in favour of this. I think I know who Hazel Israel is, and if I'm right, her sister is head of a primary school. Yeah, and has done some fantastic work with the children in Penrail. So I'm assuming it's like sister, and they're both.
Yeah, she's an ex-teacher as well. Hazel's was a teacher.
Yeah, so I'm inclined to support this grant myself.
Do we know if this is going to be done in school time or outside of school hours?
It doesn't actually say on that, so I think, you know,
Expensive project.
it's quite an expensive project, but if it's going to,
That's for two though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm asking somebody else for 4,150.
if it's not us, no. I'd be inclined to amend this and say, providing it's for all the private schools in the area and that they get the rest of their funding, I'd be quite happy to support this, I think. What do other people think on that?
I don't think it's specifically for primary schools. I think it's for any, you know, I presume it could be for preschool children, it could be for slightly older children. I mean, I'm taking a guess, I don't know, but I'm guessing it would be done in the holidays because it's talking about families, volunteers, you know, engaging with the and public events being held. So I don't know, but I'm guessing it's probably more likely to be a holiday activity.
And just looking back at the their actual website, and if you would like me to, I can share quickly with you something that's there for those councillors who haven't had a chance to check their website. Do you like me to do that, Rob?
I don't think we need to, Phil, to be honest.
Okay. But basically, again, you know, they've done a similar thing, and I think you're aware of it. Up at St Catherine's, you know, where they've been able to bring in people from the schools and libraries and the community, and they've used the church there, you know, as you know, to hold that event, and I think that's pretty much what they're suggesting they do with the castle down here. So yeah, I would certainly be positive towards this.
Mark?
Well, I was just going to say, I think maybe we can ask for a bit more clarification over certain things. But just generally, I would say I'm supportive of this. Yes, it is sort of education, but it's not, you know, exam specific education. It's more generic about community and about our history and sort of stuff like that, which a lot of time isn't covered in school subject. But I would be supportive of this as well. And also, as I said, I feel a bit more at ease now because obviously other people are more au fait with the history that these people have been involved in. That they've got some sort of track record of doing this sort of stuff. So I'm a bit more at ease about it now.
Okay, we'll take it to the vote then. So all those in favour of awarding this grant? Okay, and against or abstaining? Against. There we are. Okay, thanks. And the last one is Mumbles Bowls Club for a grant of £800. This is one of the ones we've already sort of committed to, is it, Kerry?
So maintenance grant.
The maintenance ones that we sort of we award.
The ones that you award on an annual basis, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just have to decide whether you're going to award it this year or not.
Rich?
And they're only asking for 800 out of a total of 2,270. So
That's because I think the Bowls Club is now split into three, isn't it? Because there's three different users who use it. So we're likely to have one coming back from Mumbles Croquet Club and the other one as well. So, okay, has anybody got anything they want to say on this, or can we go straight to a vote? Okay.
I was just going to observe, Rob, that they do have nearly £10,000 in the bank account.
Yes, they do.
Good
Yeah,
Lord, why are they
Just an
asking us for money
observation.
then?
You know, I'm just aware. I don't know what our threshold is. You know, I mean, that might be, for all we know, you know, their reserve, as it were, and they've been told to keep money aside. But I just didn't know whether or not that was an appropriate amount.
you know, we thank you, Phil, for raising it. I mean, we'll have been aware about that in the past when they've put grant applications in. It may well be reserves. It may be for earmarked for repairs or something like that. I don't know. Carrie, I'll bring you in.
Yeah, yeah, they had it last year, and I believe we actually didn't approve it last year. We approved the other two because they literally had, like, you know, a few pounds in the bank. That was the Croquet Club and the other Bowls Club, who both share the greens. And we certainly queried it, and I believe we decided not to award it on the basis that they couldn't really justify why they needed the extra money when they had £10,000 sitting in the bank. And as far as I remember, that it wasn't for any specific purpose. It was mainly from their the subs that they get from their members.
Sarah?
I think we need to query that 10,000 in the bank. I mean, this is taxpayers' money we're throwing around. I don't think they need it. And if the other groups are going to come to us for money and they need it, I think we should concentrate on them instead. Okay.
Kerry, can we write to them and find out what the 10,000 in the bank is, and maybe defer this grant until next month, until we've had an answer? I think that's probably the best.
Yep.
Chair, I would love to know how much to check last year and to go back and just do our due diligence on how much it was last year, like Carrie suggested as well. That'd be a good idea. So yeah, I agree with the deferral.
Okay, and just before we vote on that, I'm just being drawn by Ian into the fact that they've just had £7,000 out of that nearly £10,000 taken out from the statement they provided. So that, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's still a question worth asking.
Yeah, I think, you know, to be honest, deferring it by 1 month isn't going to break them or
No,
upset
because they've
them.
still got £3,000 they can use in the interim.
For clarification, I'm going to put it to vote that we defer it until next month. I think that's until we've just got the clarification.
Yeah.
Okay, so all those in favour of deferring it? Okay, thank you. So that's the end of the grants. Next is the external evaluation update. Perry.
It's not on the agenda, it's the internal audit that's on the agenda.
No,
Unless it's been...
I've got number 10, external evaluation update.
Oh, okay. I've got a different
Is that
agenda.
the published one as opposed to the one we've got in the pack?
Yeah, maybe that's different in the pack.
Rob, that's might have been the one I gave you. Have this.
Okay,
In the
so-
pack, we've got internal audit.
Yeah,
Interim audit report.
that's what I was expecting it to be, the internal
Number
audit
10,
report,
internal audit interim audit
Yes.
report.
not evaluation.
Well, no, I'm going on the one I've got on my screen from the documents that were sent out. But anyway, we'll go with the one that's been published anyway. So, internal audit interim audit report. Kerry.
Yeah, so the internal audit report has been added to the packs for you. It's on Teams. It's to bring to the attention of council that prior to having the year-end audit, we've had an interim audit undertaken to highlight any areas that we needed to improve on to see if we can make those improvements before the end of the financial year. I'm pleased to say that based on the audit that we had last year, a significant amount of work has been undertaken, and it has been noted that there are vast improvements that have been made within the internal audit report. So it's down to the committee to obviously resolve to accept the report, and then it will go to full council for the full council to sign off, please.
Okay, anybody want to say anything? We'll go to Carrie.
Yes, I think it's important that we do have it minuted that, you know, this is thanks to Kerry's and Paul's work, that we have turned round this interim report to a point where we have no concerns at all. You know, everything is as a minimum got adequate, and the majority have got substantial assurance. So, you know, that's significant confidence in our systems going forward. So, you know, I think it's worth minuting that. And also, you know, I noted, you know, and they do specifically, the auditor refers to the work that our chief officer has done with regard to getting Underhill turned round and back up and running, which it says it was managed by the chief officer. It was exemplary and is to be commended for the propriety and robustness of her approach to achieve a positive outcome in this regard. So, you know, it's great. And, you know, again, we take this opportunity to commend the RFO for a diligent, robust and balanced approach to the council's budget setting and precept. So, you know, I think those are things which are worth minuting, because, you know, this is our senior staff, and, you know, we should be very pleased with the way they're looking after us.
You're muted.
I'm absolutely happy to have that minuted, and with our thanks to Paul and Kerry for the hard work that they've done on this. You know, it's a mammoth amount of work, and we appreciate it. So, Sarah, anything you want to say?
I was just basically, I'd be reflecting what you said. I mean, a year ago, we thought we were in such confusion about what was going to happen. Well, it wasn't even a year, was it? And there's been so much work done to turn it round. And honestly, I'm in awe of the fact we actually managed to get it as far as we have with Underhill. So thank you, Kerry. We could have ended up with egg on our face for that one. And yeah, and Paul, very good work.
There we are. So I suppose all we've got to do now is vote that we accept it, isn't it? There we are. So all those in favour of accepting it? Yeah. There we are. Thank you very much. That's the end of the agenda. Thank you all for turning up. Have a nice evening.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you. That's almost a pleasure.
It was only